Have you ever gotten to the end of your week and looked back and said, gosh, I really wanted to do this thing, but I just didn't get to it? Well, you sound like you might need to make more time for what's really important to you. And today we're going to be talking about some tips to help with that. Hi, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Tasha with One Big Happy Life, and we help you find balance, build wealth, and live happy. Everything that you need to create the life that you want.
So before we hop into making some time, I just wanted to remind you all that it is the last chance to sign up for our free money masterclass, the 4 essential keys for creating your financial dream life.
Yep, Sunday is the last one, and we had 2, one on Wednesday and one on Thursday, and they were booked solid. So we really want you to join us. We've got such amazing feedback. Everyone felt motivated and excited and empowered to get started on their financial journey, and we want you there with us this Sunday. onebighappylife.com/masterclass and grab your free spot.
So now let's hop into making some time for what really matters. And if you've been following us along on the channel, we've had several really big shocks this year. And so that's why we definitely wanted to do this video and talk about how important it is to be making the time for the stuff that you really care about.
And by shocks, Joseph means that people have died suddenly. That's what he means by shocks. People that a shock would be like, oh my gosh, like Serena Williams is pregnant with twins. That is a shock. She's not. See, but you got shocked though, didn't you? No, but whenever you experience death, it always does make you think about, well, what am I doing with my life? How am I spending my time? And especially when it's sudden death. And if that were to happen to me, how would I feel about the time that I had spent leading up to that? And so it just seemed like the perfect time for us to have this conversation, because so often people will think, well, I always have more time, or I'll get to this later. And so we end up putting off the things that really matter to us.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be, because of a worry that somebody's going to die. I mean, while it is out there, a lot of it is going to be smaller things, I would say. Things like you're not working out like you wanted to, or, you really like some alone time where you can clear your thoughts after work. Things like that really matter with your day-to-day happiness, and they need to be given priority in your schedule too.
But I like to think about the death side of me. I know Joseph's like, well, it's not, but just as a reminder, because we all think that we have more time. We feel like time is infinite, but money is short. But really, it's the opposite. Money is abundant. There's lots of money out there. There are many different ways to go get more money. In terms of getting more time in your life, the minutes that are on your life clock, there is 0 more. And so that's why I always kind of push people to remember this, because we always feel like we have more time, but so often we see people, we hear people in their 50s and 60s wishing they had taken the time to save when they were younger, knowing that they could have saved, and they just felt like, well, I'll put it off till later, and now it's so late. So what are some of the ways that you can identify the things that really matter to you?
So I think the best place to start is at the end of a week. Look back at that week and then think to yourself, well, what were the things there's 2 things. What did I nail that made me really happy? That's important. That's a thing that you want to keep going. So mark that down. And then also, what is something that disappointed me? What did I run out of time for that I really wanted to do and seems like it's a really important thing? Start with that. And then have a few aspirational things.
Yeah. And also think about the things that you really do need to do. And I'm going to say, I wanted to say should be doing, but I'm going to credit Dr. Bill, my therapist, who I started seeing when I started doing IVF, because our doctor recommended it.
He's super cool.
He's really he's really nice. But so I was talking to him about my struggles with my weight, because I gained a lot of weight during IVF, because I did 3 back-to-back rounds, and then we're taking some time off so I could lose the weight, but I found myself lacking motivation and not making the time. And he reminded me that working out or not working out, all of the things that I'm doing in my life, those are all choices, right? And so I want you to think about the things that are important to you and you know they're important, but you may not necessarily be prioritizing because they feel a little difficult. So things like taking care of your health and taking care of your money, in addition to the fun things that you want to do.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good point because a lot of it comes down to your mindset. And so don't get stuck in the rut that you are trapped in your current schedule and there is absolutely nothing that you can do. No, look for the choices that you do have available to you to take that empowerment and then run with it to rearrange your schedule into a way that you can be happy with moving forward.
Yeah, one of the most liberating things that you can experience is recognizing that there is absolutely nothing that you have to do. And Brooke Castillo from the Life Coach School she did a podcast episode on it. I'll see if I can find it to drop it in the description box. It might not be there when this video goes up because we're shooting it really late. But Dr. Bill also brought that up when I'm like, oh, well, I have to do this and I have to do that. And he's like, you don't have to do anything. Every single thing that you do in your life is a choice. And if you don't believe me, I guarantee you, Google it and you will find someone that didn't do that thing. People who didn't take care of their kids, people who didn't take care of their health, people who decided, I'm not going to work anymore. I mean, those are all choices. We make those choices because we want to, because we like what our lives look like when we make certain choices. So it's all about switching our mindset from like, I have to do this to I want to do this to I choose to do this. So you can start actually making time for the things that you want to choose to do the most.
Now, how do you start actually implementing that in your day-to-day life, saying, well, I'm going to rearrange my schedule, but like really, where do I get started though? I mean, a lot of it's going to come down to habits. So you might have a couple of rocky weeks as you're starting out, but then it'll get better over time. And the easiest thing to start with is just making a plan. Before you have your week, sit down and say, okay, well, I'm going to block out this time. And we've talked about this before about calendar blocking and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to accomplish in this time block. This is what I'm going to accomplish here. And that's a great place to start and see how that works. And then put in your highest priorities in slots that you have the most time for, that you think will not get crunched, and then take the more flexible things and put those in the areas that you can fudge a little.
And the other thing that I recommend, I love time blocking and I love scheduling, but right now, as I'm on this entrepreneurship journey, I'm trying to figure out how to put that accountability and stick to my schedule as an entrepreneur where there are infinite number of things to do in every single day, and so many things get pushed off to the side. And so one of the things that have really helped me is to have my primary priorities every single day and to recognize those highest priorities first. And so the highest priorities for me, so number one, I've got to get some exercise in. 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be difficult. I've just been walking down in the basement 30 minutes. Also, spending quality time with the family. Those two priorities need to happen every single day. It doesn't matter when in the day they happen, but when I set those as my priority, then I know that even as the day is coming to a close, well, I still got to do these two things, so something else has got to go.
Yeah, and so one way to find a little bit more time to fit more in is to become more efficient with how you're doing your scheduling and whatever tasks you're accomplishing, try to get them done in less time. And so simple things like, well, pick one day a week to run all of your errands so you don't have to drive whatever the time is to different stores more than once at a time. And then that can save, a little bit here. Another thing is to kind of identify what type of person you are. When are you most productive? So if you're most productive in the mornings, then schedule the things that are going to take you a little bit longer right then, get them done, and you'll have the most energy. If you're an afternoon person, well, then do the opposite and schedule them in the afternoon to make sure that you are shrinking the things that would otherwise take a lot longer. Like, I know when I'm tired, whatever task I have, if it's not fun, oh my gosh, it's going to take 10 times as long.
Another thing that you can do that we really push people to is to buy back your time. That is a perfectly valid way to use your money. And it's also a scientifically proven way to use your money to increase happiness. Okay. So science says do it. So do it. And there are just so many people. Like the other day, I was talking to someone who is a doctor. She and her husband is like an engineer. They make all kinds of money. Now that she does have student loan debt that she's working on paying off, but she's like, I work so much and I feel so guilty because I never see my kids, right? So you can see one of her stated priorities is to spend time with her kids. And I'm like, how many hours a week are you doing laundry? And she's like, probably 8 or 10. And I'm like, well, how much would it cost you to outsource that laundry? And it's probably around $150, $200, maybe a week to outsource that laundry. And it's like, what's worth more to you? Having an extra $200 a week or having an extra 8 to 10 hours to spend with your children who frankly won't be children in your house for much longer. So where's your money best spent there?
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be that costly. You'd be surprised when like you look at like the true cost of doing different things. So like we also do Amazon Subscribe and Save a lot so we don't run out of things and have to make unexpected trips to the store. Well, that costs a little bit more for sure, but really not that much more. And sometimes the things are even cheaper. Mm-hmm. So that works out.
And the last thing that we'll say is to be patient. You do not have to be perfect right off the bat. In fact, trying to make a huge life overhaul upheaval is a surefire way to end up backpedaling and perhaps even ending up worse off than you were before. So just look for tiny ways that you can start making better choices. So when a choice comes up, just choose differently and plan to choose differently from the beginning, right? So like one of the things for me is when I get up and start looking for a snack, I've already planned that the first time that happens, I need to get an apple. And then the second time that happens, I need to get an apple. So sometimes I'll eat 1 or 2 apples a day instead of trying to hunt for something that I probably don't want to eat, like a bagel with cream cheese, because those are like 500 or 600 calories. And I had one for breakfast already. So, I've had my bagel quota.
Okay, so take a look at whatever you're doing in your life and make time for the things that really, really matter and don't put off the hard stuff.
All right. And so part of that hard stuff, you got to get your money right? We want you to start building wealth now. So join us for our free money masterclass, onebighappylife.com/masterclass. And we will see you live on Sunday night.
Yeah, drop a link or drop your comments down below and let us know what you're working on in your life, working to fit in. And also if you're coming to the masterclass.
All right. See you guys next week.
Bye.